Okay, it is the middle of November and winter has arrived in Vancouver. Now I know what some of you are going to say. Winter in Vancouver? You guys don't know winter. But the fact is, we do get some cold weather here in Vancouver. And winter time does tend to be quite rainy. So today I want to talk about how to ensure you get the most out of your winter riding. What are some of the things that you need to wear? What are some of the things that you need to do to your bike to ensure that you're getting the most out of riding in the winter months? So first of all, I want to talk about clothing. One of the most important pieces of winter clothing, especially for Vancouver riders, is a good pair of booties or outer shoes. This is a piece of equipment that slips on over top of your cycling shoes to keep your feet warm and dry in the winter. There is nothing more demoralizing and disheartening than riding in the winter with cold, wet feet. So make sure you have a set of booties that will keep your feet warm and dry during the winter. The other thing you want to ensure that you have is a good pair of gloves. Don't buy a pair of gloves that are too tight. You don't want them cutting off circulation to your hands and your fingers. But again, you want to find a pair of gloves that are going to keep your hands warm and dry during your winter rides. The other really important piece of cycling equipment for the winter months are knee warmers and arm warmers. These are great pieces of equipment because they are things that you can strip off if during the course of your ride you're feeling a little too warm. I like knee warmers after having had knee surgery, especially when temperatures get even below about 10 degrees Celsius. The other piece of overlooked equipment you might want to consider is a little hood or a set of ear warmers that you can wear just underneath your helmet. Again, having cold ears on a winter ride can sometimes be quite an unpleasant experience. Don't forget to layer when you're dressing for your winter rides. Oftentimes having a base layer of merino wool can be really handy during the winter months. I heard an interesting piece of advice the other day that you should really dress for the second half of your ride. When you start your ride, you might want to feel a little cool. As the ride progresses, you're going to feel increasingly warm. And as long as you're layering, you can strip off some of those layers as the ride progresses and you get feeling a little warmer. See if you can find a jacket that has ventilation under the arms. That's really important again to ensure that you're feeling not overheated as the ride progresses. One of the things that I think is really important for winter riding is to have larger tires on your bike. We're riding with 47 mil tires with a reasonably aggressive tread. This is so important if you're riding in places where you know roads and paths can become icy. You might also want to consider lowering your tire pressure. And while we're on the subject of tires, winter is often a great time to be riding with tubeless tires. If you get a flat during your ride, the last thing in the world you want to be doing is spending a lot of time trying to repair that flat. Make sure to put some fresh sealant in your tires at the beginning of the winter season. Also, you want to have a pair of Fenders or Mudguards on your bike during the winter just to keep as much of the dirt and water off of your body. Wintertime is a great time to make sure that you've got a functional set of lights for both the front and the back of your bike. You might start your ride in the light of day and not realize that the light is disappearing more quickly than you had anticipated. So make sure that you've got a set of lights for your bike during the winter months. Chain lube. You might want to consider switching to a lube that is designed for wet conditions during the winter months, especially here in Vancouver. Before you go out on your ride, sometimes it's a great idea to do a little bit of a warm-up. If you've got a place that you can warm up indoors before getting your ride started, that's oftentimes not a bad idea, especially for some of the older riders out there. Don't forget hydration during the winter. Sometimes we tend to forget to drink during those longer rides in the winter, but hydration is as important in the winter months as it is in the summer months. Keep drinking. Wintertime is also a time to take things a little bit easily. Do a little more zone 2 riding during the winter. You don't need to be going out and hammering. It's also a really important thing to know your limits, when to bail on a ride. Wintertime is often a good time to get on your wind trainer and spend some time on Zwift if you're fortunate enough to have that set up. One of the things that I love about Zwift is it gives me the consistency that I need. I'm not going to be a victim to the winter weather. I can get out into my pain cave and ride on Zwift regardless of the conditions. Wintertime is a time to build a solid base. Get on your bike, get those zone 2 rides so that when spring and summer comes along, you are in great cycling condition. So winter riding doesn't have to be a sufferfest. With the right gear and a few smart strategies, you can really make the most of winter 2025. So thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. And until we ride again, take care.